Hey there, I'm back, and yeah, I got the tea to keep me awake for this one, and I'm still rocking the Moroccan shirt. And this is part 3 to my Doctor Who DVD collection. And now we're getting into the Tom Baker era, what most people, actually a lot of people, consider to be the greatest era of the original Doctor Who. And I can't disagree with that. Tom Baker, combined with Philip Hinchcliffe, Robert Holmes, having guys like Douglas Adams working on the series, made for a pretty memorable run for any Doctor, and he played the Doctor for 7 years. I have the Sontaran Experiment. This is an early one. It has, of course, Sarah Jane and Ian Marter as Harry Sullivan. This is, of course, on the Bred for War Sontaran box set. Great stuff. I really love the Sontaran Experiment. It's a shorter story, but it's one that stuck out in my mind, and it's just one that I've always remembered. I used to have Ark in Space. I don't have it anymore, but it was the story that preceded this one, and it's a very good story. And I recommend that most of these. I'll be honest with ones that I don't. Pyramids of Mars is a classic. It is Hinchcliffe producing this series at its best. It really cements the relationship between Sarah Jane and Tom Baker's Doctor. They are true friends, and it shows in every moment. They have a great chemistry. There's a line where basically Tom Baker introduces Sarah Jane as his best friend. This is a mummy one, kind of a, Sutek is the villain in this, and he makes a great, very legit threat to the Doctor, and it's a really good story. It's darker again because that was the era when Doctor was doing the Hammer-esque stories, and it's a damn good one. Like I mentioned before, I have The Mask of Mandragora. Is it the best story? No, but do I like it? Yes. I like all of Tom Baker's stories. I like The Mask of Mandragora. It is closer to being an historical, and some people don't like the historicals, and you find that they'll waver away from them. So if you're not into the historical ones, this may not be your best bet. But me personally, I found this to be a really fun story. One of the first solo DVDs I bought was The Deadly Assassin. Deadly Assassin is hands down probably one of my favorite Tom Baker stories, up there with Genesis of the Daleks. It's very Manchurian Candidate-esque. This is the only story that the original Doctor has no companion in, by the way. You can correct me in comments if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that this will be his only story where there is no companion. There is a featurette called Doctor Who's Frightened Factor, talking about the scariness of Doctor Who. There's the making of is really interesting here, because this is the story that censorship Nazi Mary Whitehouse, the one who had the National Viewers and Listeners Association, trying to shut down shows like crazy in the BBC and back in Britain in the day. Well, there was a scene in here where the Doctor is in peril, being drowned, that she thought just went too far. She thought Doctor went too far many times, but especially with this one here, this one got her and got them into a lot of trouble. And I got to be honest, this is one of the great ones. This is the return of a classic character, and I don't mind giving it away to you because you really should watch it anyway. This is the Master. As Roger Delgado played the Master before, and he obviously passed away. So they wanted to bring the character of the Master back, but they weren't sure exactly how they were going to do that at this point. So they have an extremely scarred up, burned up Master, and I gotta be honest with you, it's a really freaking creepy looking face that they did for the character. He's a creepy looking character. The next one is a great Christian Space one called Robots of Death. Robots of Death is on the Revisitation box set, by the way, and it is on, I think, either 2 or 3, and it is one of the greats. It is one of the later ones. So you got the girl in the jungle outfit, looking extremely cute. It's Hinchcliffe again, of course, producing it, so it's in his era, and his era is amazing. There are some great things in here. There's a kind of a comical little thing on robophobia done by Toby Hadiok, who puts some really good features on these Doctor Who films. This is a one-disc one. I think maybe the only one-disc one in the entirety of the Revisitations box set, but it's definitely one that you want to have. There's a second commentary on this one, a new commentary with Tom Baker, Louise Jameson, and anytime Tom Baker does a commentary on Doctor Who, that's worth getting. He is quite the character. Very fun guy to listen to. Him and Peter Davison are very different senses of humor, but they both make you want to listen to the commentary. The next one is a 3-disc set that came in one of the Revisitations, and it is one of the greats. It is truly one of the greats. So great, in fact, that its secondary characters that were actually inspired a series of Big Finish audios that I think are still on the go today. And that's the Towns of Wang Chang. This is an incredible set. There's just so much on it, I can't even get in everything that's on here right now. But it is a 3-disc set, and you see I'm wearing the very much the Sherlock Holmesian thing, and Tom Baker did play Sherlock Holmes, so it was interesting to see it done. This is one of the more interesting, more creepy stories. Of course, it is in the Hinchcliffe era, and David Maloney is one of the best directors in that era. So to see him directing this one as well, I can't say enough good about that story. The next one is another one in the vein, because it's another, basically we're getting into Graham Williams era, but we've still gotten the kind of the creepiness in there, the horror of Fang Rock. It's very much the story of stuck in a lighthouse. That's pretty much it. Stuck in a lighthouse with a killer. They lock themselves in, and the Doctor realizes too late that he thinks he's saving them by locking them all in the lighthouse together, but unfortunately the killer is already in the lighthouse. And the Centaurans, who've been shown before, we've heard through the years that their race has been at war, and the whole Centauran thing is that they're bred for war to fight against this other race, and they've been doing it for like forever, and we never ever see that other race until here. This is the first appearance of that race, and sorry, my voice went there for a second. And there's some great stuff in there. It's a Patty Russell Life and Television, a retrospective on the director that actually directed this and a few other Doctor Who's. There's a fact or fiction thing on Terrence Dicks, talking about his 6-decade career in books and television. Terrence Dicks, if you've seen any of these ones, here is a very good talker. Very much the guy that you meet at the pub type of character. And Horror Fang Rock was one that always stood out for me. It just the horror-esque episodes of Doctor Who always stood out for me, and I'm surprised that that's not a Hinchcliffe one. That is actually the Graham Williams era, because I kind of thought that would be something that would be in the Hinchcliffe era. And then we got Invasion of Time. It's another Centauran one, and I gotta admit I don't remember it that well. I don't know if I watched this one from the Bread to War box set yet, but it's I think it's a 6-parter. It's the Graham Williams era one. Graham Williams wasn't my favorite era of Doctor Who, but it was still kind of fun. Basically, there is a documentary on here though on the portrayal of the Time Lords and talking about Gallifrey and how that's changed over the years, and that I really enjoyed. I'm not sure who the companions are in this one here. Probably Layla still, and at this point K9 maybe. Yeah, I think K9's in that. the robotic dog that would be later going to be in Sarah Jane Adventures, would spin off into a pilot that didn't go anywhere with Sarah Jane, and of course the Australian short-lived children's series Canine. This is the Doctor's second last episode. Keep tracking. This would be the John Nathan Turner era of Doctor Who. This is when Tom Baker was going out. This was the start of the new master, Anthony Anley. But he's not the only person to play the master in this episode, actually. Jeffrey Beavers does the voice of the master for most of the episode, and he does a magnificent job. And Jeffrey Beavers can be heard on the Big Finish audio with when they use the master's character then. And there's some great stuff on this. This is, this is probably the best use of the character of Adric in the entirety of the Doctor Who series that he's in. There's a great featurette on the Return to Master here. And again, I love the story, and Adric is a character that is much maligned by many Doctor Who fans. But if you want to see a story where he's used well, and then you got to keep it tracking. And his last story, his swan song, is Logopolis. Logopolis is a fun story. It's the introduction of Peter Davison. It's a great 50-minute documentary called A New Body at Last. Basically, it's talking about the transition from Tom Baker to Peter Davison. How every year Tom Baker would pretty much come in and say, well, this is my last year. And they'd like, no, come on, you have to do one more year. And he pretty much came in this year and said, well, I think this is my last year. There was silence. And how did that go? Get the DVD, watch the documentary, and watch my next part of, because there's more Doctor Who DVDs to come. That's the Tom Baker era, and I got a few on the Peter Davison one, so before I get into that, let's get this one uploaded and then get to the next one. Let's hope we can get all these out tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you're either a fan of Doctor Who, or you're on the way to becoming a fan of Doctor Who, because anything I can do to make it happen, I'm there for. Thanks a lot for watching. For me, it's time for tea, which I desperately need, and I want to get through all these tonight so that I can get all the Doctor Who videos done. And thanks again. I really appreciate you guys watching.